Okay, my name is excuse me, is Stephen O'Sullivan, and I'm Divisional Manager at Halton Borough Council. Now, our project is, it's the logical extension of the valuing people and valuing people now. And it's about moving away from the kind of, my background being in learning disabilities has been about moving away from day centres and going into the community. And the extension, the logical extension from that is to go into jobs and to create jobs. That's the real onus for us. And I don't think there's any point in trying to pretend, especially in this climate, that getting jobs for people with disabilities is easy. In fact, my own view is that it's so difficult that what we need to do as a local authority is create the jobs ourselves. However, they must be done on a business footing. They must be able to pay for themselves. They must not incur additional costs on the taxpayer or the ratepayer, and they have to stand alone. So, we started out very much as many people in local authorities have started out with just doing small projects. I think we started out with a Murdershaw Cafe, which is based in the community centre, and one of our staff, who's been wonderful, was very keen to provide the cafe facilities there and the food there. So, and she started off with 2 or 3 of our service users, so they got involved in the preparation and the delivery of the food and waitressing and all the rest of it, which was brilliant. I mean, it's much more fun than sitting in the day centre making the same tired ashtray over and over again. So that was very successful, but it's rather a kind of an eponymous thing. If you look anywhere in the country at the moment, most authorities, if not all authorities, have some kind of catering project, have a cafe with a couple of staff and a couple of service users who provide the service. So frankly, it's getting a little bit tired, and there's only a limit, I think, especially if you haven't got much passing trade, and community centres don't tend to. It's a bit difficult to make it really sustainable and to develop it and grow it over the longer term. So we've been looking for, and we're fortunate in getting a contract to provide all the catering at Norton Priory Museum, which it's up in Runcorn, and it's a 12th century monastery. The museum is around it, and we pay them a rent for the use of the cafeteria, and we deliver the catering there. We also do corporates as well, and that's just flown. It's fantastic. We've been able to employ, admittedly only on permitted earnings at the moment. You're all familiar with permitted earnings as opposed to a real wage? Yeah, okay. Only on permitted earnings at the moment, but when that revenue increases, we will be in a position to give them permanent 16-hour plus jobs. That's the service users who are involved in that. Now, the success of that has allowed our directorate and our members, our council members, that they feel a lot more confident in being able to support some of the more adventurous projects or businesses that we've got in mind. And the first one that we're really branching out with, there's 3 main ones, but the first one is a microbrewery. I think it's pretty unique. I am not aware, unless, I don't know if any of you are, where a social services department is involved in producing beer. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. It came out of a kind of light conversation about what should we do next. But of course, we're doing it in the grounds of Norton Priory Museum. And the link is that as a monastery, it obviously had its own brewery and its own bakery and all the rest of it. So the kind of the marketing angle, which will be to increase the footfall through the museum, is that this is kind of a reinvention, if you like, of the monastic traditions. Although of course it's not, but we'll have people walking through so they can see the whole thing in operation, and they'll be able to buy the product at the shop and where our other outlets are. So that's going ahead. There's about a £25,000 investment in that, but one of the things that we do to make sure it's on a proper business footing is that we do a business plan for it, and we use net present values, just as you would expect in any business plan for 3 to 5 years. I don't bother with IRR because I can never quite work it out. But that's so the business plan is based on the fact that we've used this 25 grand, which we've actually got from savings that we've made within our service, and we've used that money to do that instead of giving it up as a saving. And we put it in a special account, and it's like going to the bank. Going to our directorate is a bit like that. So you give them the idea, and they say, yes, you can put that 25 in. So over the period of the 3 or 5 years, whichever one we've gone for, we will pay that money back to ourselves, but we will pay that back. And we will also, obviously, hopefully, be able to, it'll be a standalone business, and they'll be able to have a full wage themselves. So that's a slight diversion. The other thing that we've started, we took the lease on last month, is the hairdressers. Again, if you go to any day centre, any that are left, across the country, you will often find they'll have a little hairdressers area where service users can get involved in some of the elements of it. But we just felt it was tokenistic, it's twee, but people are really interested in it, and there's also a bit of a market for it in that there are many people on the registered, disabled register rather, that can be quite intimidated by going into some of these rather kind of sassy, glossy, expensive high street hairdressers. So we've taken a lease where the hairdressers just off the high street in Runcorn, so it is within the central business district, and that will be refurbed. We've got 2 months left to complete it, but it will be open to the public, and it's again on the same basis that it's that money that we've invested, we've taken from ourselves, but the same model, we'll pay it back and we'll create the business out of it. We will be able to pay we're at a major advantage is that, of course, we are effectively subsidised because we are using our existing staff. So we've got a bit of an advantage over many other businesses in these kind of areas because we don't have to pay those costs. And so we've just taken the resource that we normally have in day services and moved it and used it to produce these businesses, with the long-term goal being that they will be standalone and that they will be liberated from the tyranny of social services, which is our longer-term aim. Thank you.
Thank you.